program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Welcome to Steer the Line, where every Friday we give you NFL analysis, fantasy football breakdowns, and sports betting previews. I'm Christian Giordani, joined alongside lou-desmo and Rocky Giordani. Now let's get ready to steer the line. Well, hot Tua, the NFL season's only, about 6 days away now?
Yes, it is. It's almost Derek Carr time.
Oh, God. All right. Well, for the first time, and I think about, let's say, since February, we can actually talk about betting on NFL football out. So let's jump right into it. We have 2 games that we need to cover that will be before our next show on Friday. We have Thursday night football, Ravens at Chiefs. Loud, let's jump right into it.
So what's interesting to me about this is that line has not moved but half a point one way or another since it opened. So it was like 3, 2.5, 3, 3.5. Now it's at 3. And I think there's been some kind of major news, which is Hollywood Brown is not going to play in the game.
Yeah, that is correct. Hollywood Brown is out for week 1.
And Andy Reid, they're obviously not happy with their situation at receiver because just in the past few days, they brought in a couple guys that were cut by other teams, including Juju Smith-Schuster was cut by the Patriots. And they went and picked him back up. Remember, they let him walk at the end of last season because he couldn't catch the ball. And wasn't he the one that was offsides on the critical play?
No. That was Kadarius Toney. That was Kadarius Toney. The Chiefs had just cut him, I think, about 3-4 days ago. But Juju Smith-Schuster, I think, is honestly a solid pickup for them. He was very key and vital to that championship.
Help me out. If he's such a solid pickup, why did the Patriots, who suck at that position, release him when they were paying him nothing?
Well, it was all due to guaranteed money. I think Juju Smith-Schuster, correct me if I'm wrong, was going to make about $12 million this following year. And if they cut him, they would only have to pay the 4.5 that was guaranteed. So it was more contractual than anything.
It's not like they don't have the money, and it isn't like they were creating cap space for someone else.
No, but also they know what Juju Smith-Schuster is. They want to take that spot and give it to a young wide receiver who might have some more potential.
Okay, I'm just saying it looks a little desperate to me. The Chiefs clearly are not thrilled with their options at receiver. And you take Hollywood Brown out of that room because he's not going to play. And I don't know, it seems like, and Andy Reid was talking like the 2 new receivers are expected to play next week. Well, they haven't practiced with the team, but it just, I don't know. That concerns me on the Kansas City side. Now, on the side of the Ravens, I'm not sold yet. I love the pickup of Derrick Henry. What do you think of that?
I think it's the best move the Ravens have made since drafting Lamar Jackson.
Now, here's the caveat to that. Do they use him appropriately?
I think they do. I truly think they do. I don't think you can mess up having Derrick Henry in your backfield. Obviously, you're going to get a lot of criticism if you don't run him at least 20 times a game. And I think that RPO system is going to be insane with him and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. If they run an RPO system that is based on either Lamar running or Henry running, I love it. If they run an RPO system where it's up to Lamar, whether it's a running play or a pass, I hate it. Because remember the last time we saw Lamar Jackson on the field, Huggy Bear.
Yep.
Last time we saw Huggy on the field, he played one of the worst games I have ever seen a supposed all-star, most valuable player in the league play. He was awful because I think he decided, and his offensive coordinator decided, and that's why the offensive coordinator is gone, that he was going to use this playoff game to prove he can be a pocket passer. He wouldn't run in the game. I remember watching the game and going, run! You've got 20 yards of open field. Run when you're Lamar Jackson. What are you doing? Run! And he wouldn't do it. He was holding the ball and burping the baby and holding the ball and burping the baby and making a sandwich and getting sacked or throwing an interception or an incomplete pass. So if Harbaugh has the stones to tell Lamar, this whole you're going to pass the ball thing, yeah, we're done with that. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to run the ball with you or Derrick Henry. And if we come up with a 3rd and 8, yeah, we'll throw. But other than that, we're running the ball and playing defense because our defense can hold anybody to 20 points. And with you and Derrick Henry running the ball, we can score more than that. I am not sold that that's what the Ravens are going to do.
I cannot see them passing up on showing off their new toy. Derrick, and this is a personal game for the Ravens.
Ladies and gentlemen, Derrick Henry is Christian's personal toy. First heard here on the Steer the Line program.
Well,
Derrick Henry.
No, this is a personal game for the Ravens. The Kansas Chiefs, they knocked him out last season.
Yeah,
Lamar Jackson, he's gonna want his get back, and I think Derrick Henry's gonna want to prove one, he has gas left in the tank.
One, he's not done.
Two, one, he's not done, and two, he can help win this team championship. And I think the Ravens want to show that as well. So, if we're gonna be talking betting strategy, I take the +3 with the Ravens.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning to is +3 with the Ravens. I think Kansas City is a little light in the receiver room, and they're showing that they're a little concerned about that. They still have Travis Kelce, but how long is Travis Kelce going to play like he's 28 years old?
Man.
And here's the other thing.
They have Taylor Swift and they're doing plays for their playbook now.
Well, come on. Here's the other thing. It's hard in the NFL to be lucky all the time. And one thing that the Kansas City Chiefs have managed to avoid for the past 4 or 5 years, basically ever since Patrick Mahomes got there, is a devastating injury. Yeah. Remember, the Ravens lost their best offensive passing weapon, Mark Andrews, in the middle of the season to a season-ending knee injury. How many teams had Joe Burrow goes out for Cincinnati?
Yep.
Major injuries happen every year. You know why? Because it's always my first fantasy football pick that gets hurt. I can't tell you how many years in a row my number 1 draft pick, week 2, gone for the season. Anyway.
Then all I'm asking is don't draft a Ram in the first player.
Yeah, I'm in the first round, I'm taking Matthew Stafford. No, I'm just kidding.
God, no.
No, so can everything break right for Kansas City again? And the law of averages tells me it can't. And if Kansas City's going to drop a game, are they going to drop one in December or are they going to drop one in September?
No, I see your analogy here. And look, championship high. That's the one thing we're going to be going off. You have a lot of young guys on that Kansas City team who have won the championship for the first time. They weren't there the first 2 chips, so they're going to have a much bigger championship hangover than they have previously.
Yeah,
But
so
yes.
I lean Baltimore +3, but Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs scare the hell out of me because he has the most uncanny ability to just out of nowhere. I mean, he
Just
came
what
back and
team?
won a game in 19 seconds.
Yeah. 13.
I'm sorry,
13
13 seconds.
Yeah.
So, I don't put anything past the Chiefs, but if you put a gun to my head, and please don't, I would be with you and I'd go +3 on the Ravens on this game.
Yep. All right. Moving on, we got the Brazil game. The Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles go to Brazil where they were informed they should not wear green during that game.
Right.
The two NFL with green colors in their logos go to the one country where they can't wear it.
What are they going to do for the uniforms?
I've heard the Eagles are going to do their all black uniforms and the Vikings are going to wear the white and yellow, the white and gold.
No, wait. You mean the Packers?
I mean, yes, the Packers.
Okay. What is the over-under on that game? I'd like...
The over-under is 48.5 right now.
See, I don't... And the line...
The money line is at 2.5.
Oh, you mean the spread?
I mean the spread. Oh, the money line is at plus 125 for the Packers, minus 150 for the Eagles.
Okay, so the Eagles are the favorite. The thing about so I didn't think about this game as much as because I had to analyze the other game for a different network. I think I am not comfortable with any play on the Philadelphia Packers game, really, because of the fact that they're playing it in freaking Brazil. And those international games always play weird. It was like the first few years of Thursday night football. I used to call it Thursday night shenanigans because you had no idea what the hell was going to happen. You had bizarre outcomes in those games. The international games are the same way. It's weird. There's strange things that happen. I don't know if people get food poisoning or their body clock is wrong, but they always play sluggish. So the one play in this game I would be comfortable with at all is the under. Just thinking both teams, weird place, strange place to play, unusual turf, not used to it. 6 people have food poisoning on the offensive line. Party town, young players in a weird place. I mean, it just seems like, to me, it's got all the ingredients to be a sloppy game.
You know what, Loud? We are on the same page today because aside from all the situations you just said, yes, they're going to be in a foreign country. There's young players going ahead. The Eagles and the Packers are 2 of the youngest teams in the NFL. Obviously, they're going to have some fun in Brazil.
Right, right. That's exactly what I'm thinking is that there's a bunch of 22 to 25-year-old guys that are going to be in freaking Sao Paulo, Brazil for a week.
Yeah, they're going to have some fun. But
the over-under on the number of baby mamas is set at 15. Mm-hmm. And if it was the Dolphins and Tyreek was there, I'd be on the over.
Oh, 100%.
But because he's got like 8 on his own.
Yeah, he's got 15 kids. Jesus. But aside from all the reasons we said in this game, they're 2 great defenses, Philadelphia and Packers. That under just looks great to me, and I really want to stay away from the money line and the spread in this game because how you said Thursday night shenanigans. Yeah, who knows? This is all, when you go to those foreign games.
Game in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I mean, somebody gets a bad bikini wax, and God knows what can happen.
Yeah, and over under how many players throw up in the game, I say 2.
Yeah, there you go. How many players throw up during the game? All right. Let's just say there's going to be a lot of IVs at halftime.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there. All right. Let's talk about a little college football, shall we?
Yes, let's shout.
So tonight, and this is a game that's playing right now. Lehigh is taking on Army. I was my pick on the Winners and Winers Network was Lehigh plus 31.5. My thinking was Army runs the ball, takes the air out of the clock. Lehigh, not a great offense, but good enough. They pass the ball around pretty well. They can play a little defense. Army's Black Knight defense pretty good. But both teams first game, and then you know what? I looked back at Army's opening games over the past 4 or 5 years. They suck in their opening games. I don't know why, but they've lost like 3 out of the last 5 years to inferior teams on paper in their opening game. And I don't get it because I honestly went into this thinking, Army's going to be much more prepared because they have such disciplined players because of who they are. So they're going to be more ready than other teams. That was my theory. And then I looked at the results, and it was the exact opposite of what I went in with. So I don't know what it is, but Army is not great in opening games. It was a big line. It was plus 32.5 for Lehigh. And I just was thinking, man, even if Army scores 42, if Lehigh gets a touchdown at some point in the game and a field goal, then they don't cover. So that's where I went in that game. And it's currently, I believe, Army is up by 28-7 end of the third quarter. So, and Lehigh has the ball and is driving. So we'll see how that works out. I'm sorry?
Yep.
Army now, they punted. Okay. On Friday night, you have a number of games, including, I think, let me just double check. Wyoming at Arizona State, I believe, is Friday night. Let me just look at the Friday night slate. I tell you what, Christian, why don't you pull it up? The college?
Friday night tonight would be we have Western Michigan at Wisconsin. And
no, I'm sorry. This is Friday. I'm sorry.
Saturday night?
Yeah, Saturday night. Okay,
Saturday.
So I know Fresno State, Michigan is a big game on Saturday, and that's in the evening. I'm going under 45.5 in that game for this reason. Michigan does not have a great offense. They've lost their top quarterback, their top receiver, a couple of offensive linemen, all to the NFL. Their defense will still be great. It'll be top 5. So Michigan's not going to score much, and Fresno State is going to have a hard time scoring against Michigan. So I could see this game being 20-10, 31-10, 32-15, and it still all comes under 45.5.
Yep.
So 32-13. I just don't see Fresno State scoring more than at most a couple of touchdowns, maybe 17. And I just don't see Michigan scoring a ton with all that they lost on offense. Okay, where am I wrong?
No, I don't disagree with that at all. Michigan, one of the best defenses in college football last year. I think they're going to continue to be what that is. And I do see Fresno State struggling to score against them. So a low-scoring game, I love that under 47.5.
All right, Notre Dame, Texas A&M. I should not pick Notre Dame games because I'm a Notre Dame fan. I can't help myself. It is the one team that really wounds me when they lose meaningful games is Notre Dame. And this is obviously a meaningful game. And here's the thing. This is the game that Notre Dame always loses, right?
Yep.
They had Ohio State on the ropes last year in the third week of the season, and they lost 17-14. And they always seem to lose this game on their schedule. The statement game, the opening game, whatever it is. However, Notre Dame is going to have, I believe, one of the top 5 defenses in the country. They have a ton of returning starters, upperclassmen on defense. Marcus Freeman has made a great defense out of that team. They have a great transfer portal quarterback. They have picked up a couple of receivers from marquee programs. Texas A&M is a very good team. They're going to be very physical in the trenches. But Notre Dame always reloads on the offensive line. If there's one position group Notre Dame always has, they are offensive lineman university for the NFL. So I don't think the offensive line is going to be intimidated by Texas A&M's defensive line. And I think Notre Dame's defense, returning all the starters and all the upperclassmen, is going to make it very hard to score on them. So, God bless me, St. Patrick, Notre Dame +3.
Notre Dame +3. I'm going to agree with that. And, yeah. Any other college games you have on your mind, Lou?
All right. The big, exciting game last week in college football was Georgia Tech taking on the Florida State Seminoles, who famously got left out of the playoff last year, even though they went undefeated and won the ACC championship. And Georgia Tech beat Florida State in Dublin on a last-second field goal. Now, Georgia Tech flies all the way home from Ireland with all that fanfare, all that excitement, all the stuff that goes along with going on the road and beating a top 10 team in Dublin, Ireland, and the late kick and all that. And Georgia State, their literal crosstown rival, comes into their stadium at a +20 underdog. If this game was played in December or mid-November, I'm all over Georgia Tech. But after that win, after think about all the celebrations and all of the stuff and all of the interviews the kicker has done and the coach has done and all the distractions. And playing that game, flying to Ireland, and then flying back and all of that, college football players are kids. They're not professionals. Are they going to be up to beat the crap out of lousy Georgia State? I don't think so. This, to me, it's not a numbers thing at all. I'm normally a numbers analysis guy, as I know you are too. I just think emotionally, Georgia State will be more up for the game than Georgia Tech. And 20 is a lot of points in that situation. So I'm with State +20 in this one.
Yeah, this is a game I want to stay away from. You know what? But if you had to put a gun to my head, I'm going to have to agree with you. Georgia State +20 on that spread. It's a really big spread to cover, even in college football.
All right, finally, Wyoming Cowboys, one of the teams that I love, a lovable runt of a team in the college football landscape. They're catching +7.5 points at Arizona State. It's at Arizona State. I love Wyoming in this game. I don't have time to go into the reasons because we're just about to run out of time, but the Cowboys +7.5 at Wyoming makes sense to me.
Yeah, Wyoming State, I think, is a much better football program than ASU, so I'm going to have to take Wyoming State as +7.5 as well.
All right, Christian, anything else to add? Well, of course, the two big things.
Yeah, we have big
CeeDee
contracts.
Lamb gets his bag.
Yep, CeeDee Lamb got paid, second highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And Brandon Ayuk also got paid 4 years, $120 million.
It worries the hell out of me that Jamar Chase is still not under contract, is still not getting his bag with Cincinnati.
That's a thing that can wait another year. He still has 2 years until a fifth-year option. So his time will come when he will get paid, but not
I
this
got
year.
the fantasy football draft coming up.
He's going to be coming in. But for one question with Brandon Ayuk, he's now getting paid around $30 million a year. That's going to put their cap space into a very tight budget. And the 49ers are starting to ask Brock Purdy if he'll be willing to take a pay cut.
1 minute.
If you're Brock Purdy, do you take the pay cut or do you leave San Francisco for your best offer?
No, I stay in San Francisco and I make more money on endorsements and I have an opportunity to win Super Bowls. Otherwise, I'm with somebody like the Raiders and my career is over.
If I'm Brock Purdy, I'm taking the money elsewhere and proving I'm not a system quarterback. It's not the Niners offense, it's him.
Yeah, I don't think he's that much of the athlete that can get away with that. But we'll agree to disagree.
Yeah, we will agree to disagree. And everyone, this has been Sir Lam. We'll see you guys next week when we will actually have an NFL game to discuss next week.
And we'll have one